Thank you for joining us for the Thriving Transmen of Color discussion with and about Seahorse Dads. My name is Ken. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'll serve as a moderator for this open and safe conversation as our panelists share their experience and knowledge. Before we get going, I want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. So if you're comfortable and you don't mind sharing your name, your preferred pronouns, and if you're cool with it, where you are.
Hey, I'm Malachi Allen, pronouns he, him, his, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey, y'all. I'm Caden Coleman. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am in Houston, Texas.
My name is Alan, and I'm located in Louisiana. My pronouns are he, him, and his.
If a seahorse can, why can't a man of trans experience do it? Society says you are not man enough when we don't do what cisgender men do. The truth is, as trans men, we're already breaking the rules and societal norms. As trans men, we do deserve to make our own rules and narratives as we deserve to live authentically. We're no longer bound by the laws of nature because we are already choosing a life that most do not understand. So if you don't mind, could you take a moment and discuss your journey as a Seahorse Dad? Put into your own words.
I was pregnant in 2013. I gave birth in 2014 and then again in 2021. So I have a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old. Neither one of my pregnancies were planned. I was one of the first Black openly pregnant trans men, specifically gay trans men, and I'm not having any more kids. So there's my journey.
Okay, so I'll call some people. Alan, what about you? You ready to share?
Yeah, sure. So I am at the end of my journey now. We have 2 weeks left. It was planned. My partner and I, we went through a fertility bank, not a fertility bank, but a fertility center. And so everything about this pregnancy was planned. I'm retired from the military, so I thought, why not? It's not a better chance, a better time to do it than now. I'm not having any more kids after this. I can tell you that right now. It wasn't a bad pregnancy. It's not for everybody, and it's not for me. One and done. That's it.
I appreciate your candor. What about you, Malachi?
Alrighty, so with my journey, actually mine was semi-planned, but then like we was going through a breakup, and you know how like y'all just get in that last moment, like this is the last time, and that's how he ended up. So that's how he ended up here. But I did wanted a child, and then I have a child on the way as well. We are 31 weeks, and this one was planned with my partner. And I think how I look at it as being a Seahorse Dad, I kind of love it. You know, like not everybody get this opportunity or chance, even just normal cis people. You know, like I try to explain to some like gay guys who don't get it. They were like, why would you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? I was like, I'm for sure if you dating a guy, y'all love each other. If you can get him pregnant, you will, because y'all be saying that all the time. I'm gonna get you pregnant, but you know that they don't have the equipment like we do. So I just, you know, I feel special, and I like being a Seahorse Dad. But as just like everybody else, this is gonna be our last one. Yeah.
Okay. So, Caden, I want to circle back to you because you said that your oldest is 10 and your youngest is, did you say 2 or 3? Caden,
She's 3. Yeah, she's 3. Sorry.
Okay, and you said neither one.
To find a mute button.
It's all good. You said neither one was planned?
No.
Okay, so if you and if at any time I ask a question that makes anybody uncomfortable, it's cool. Let me know. This is a safe space, so at any time, just say, Ken, that's too much. So how was that coming to terms with, okay, this is what my situation is. This is how I intend to handle it. How was that for you mentally and emotionally?
Well, with my 10-year-old, I didn't have a choice. I was 5.5 months
Okay.
pregnant. There was no going back. Um,
Right.
and so for me, I'm a problem solver. Not that my kid
Okay.
is a problem, because I know how people the trans man said no. Not that my kid is like a problem or anything like that. It's just when I'm faced with something that I wasn't expecting, my first thing is never to panic. It's to figure out what my next steps were, and that's pretty much what I've been doing since since I found out I was pregnant, all the way up until today. And with my second child, I found out way earlier. I was like 7 weeks when I
Okay.
found out about her, and I had the opportunity, obviously, if I wanted to get an abortion. I opted not to because I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And listen, I'm very transparent. If in all the things that I was doing in between those 6 years, I didn't wind up pregnant, and I wound up pregnant that time, that was the time I was supposed to wind up pregnant. I'm gonna just
Right.
leave it right there.
Okay.
So,
So I want to ask you guys, um, particularly to Alan, I believe the military, and thank you for your service. I'm an Army vet, so I relate to that. And were your pregnancy was planned? Did you have to come off T?
Yes, I mean anyone that's going to be pregnant is going to have to come off T. I was retired from the military already. I had already been retired for what year is this? 2024. So almost two and a half years or 2 years.
Okay.
But the VA actually paid for everything.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a blessing.
Yeah. So um yeah. But yes, I've definitely off T. It's off T for about 9 months.
Okay.
So
How has that impacted you as far as like had because there's a lot of change with coming off of T on its own, but then you're coming off of T and then you've got this other stuff going on with your body.
so for me personally, like I said, this was planned. So I meditated a lot. I
Okay.
prepared myself for this process, and mentally, physically, all around. I was just everything that I needed to do to prepare to go through this and all the mental crisis. I mean, I still have my moments. I'm not gonna lie, especially now, because in the end, and I'm gonna tell you, the end is so uncomfortable and it's a lot. So I still have my moments, but mentally, I prepared myself. And plus my partner, she's amazing. I mean, she's all around, you would think she had done this a million times, all around just supportive and caring and loving and just there. So it matters. Having someone that cares for you there, have a support system, having someone that's gonna have your back regardless of how you look or how you act or whatever you're going through, it matters. It makes a big
Having someone that's
difference.
going to advocate for you. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I want to continue on with reading some more from the Blackout article that Mel did. He goes on to say in the article, why can't trans men carry their child if they choose? People say that men cannot have babies. However, neither can some women, but that does not make them less of a woman because of their inability to create new life. Why would a man of transgender experience be less of a man because of his inability to create life? There is no rule book that says what is acceptable and what is not. So I want to pose this question to everyone. How does it make you feel when you hear things like that? Like, oh, well, if you were going to have a baby, you should not have transitioned, or those two things don't go together. How does that make you feel? I'm just going to go down the list this time. So Alan is the first name that's up.
It doesn't make me feel anyway because if I was gonna listen to what anybody had to say, I would never transition in the beginning.
Facts. Facts.
So I have a real FU attitude to people. When it comes to people trying to judge me or run my life, because it's my life, it's my decision. It's my kid. You're not gonna take care of him. I really don't care what people think of me. Um, to a certain degree. I'm not gonna lie. There's certain things that I do care about, but it's not to the point where it affects any of my decisions for me and my family. What we do in my household is what we do. That's our business. I don't force it on anyone, and I choose respect over everything else. So you respect me, I respect you. You respect me, you know.
Okay. What about you, Kaden?
I think it's comical. I find it hilarious when people are like,
I was gonna say, I think I've seen some videos you've done
yeah, you
of
definitely have.
responses to.
You definitely have, because Alan and I have known each other for a very long time, and we kind of mirror each other in the sense of like, girl, fuck you, like honestly, but
Okay.
also in the sense of when they say that men can't have babies, what they're saying is that cisgender men can't have babies. And I don't understand the idea of when a trans man, especially in the moment when a trans man is openly trans, like, hey, I'm a transgender man, meaning I'm acknowledging that either I was assigned female at birth or I used to be a woman, depending on how people correlate or relate to those terminologies, right? So I'm acknowledging that I know what body parts I have. I know, you know, my DNA and all that good stuff. So for you to point it out, it's showing me that you're uncomfortable with me and you're trying to make me uncomfortable with me, and that's not going to happen. And I've adopted this idea that I'm not about to argue with you about me. That makes no
I like
sense.
that.
Because at the end of the day, like Alan said, none of y'all are going to come to my home and raise these kids. None of y'all are. Y'all aren't contributing any money. Y'all, your tax money isn't going towards to me. Like, I don't understand why you think that your men can't have babies. Okay, well, this man, this trans man did. And you trying to call me anything different isn't going to change that. I'm not going to log off of here and detransition because you said men can't have babies and that I'm somebody's mom. I'm still going to go on about life once in real life.
I like that. I like that. What about you, Malachi?
I feel like that if you got the part to do it and you're comfortable with using it, like why not? That's how I feel about it. And just forget what everybody else be saying, and they can't control your body, because if you listening what everybody else is saying and you taking in what everybody else is saying and going off how they judging you, then you missing out on life, basically. Like if there's something that you want to do, like deep down inside, like I have plenty of trans guys come to me asking me about how to get, how to conceive or how to deal with people that's coming to them in that way. I'll be telling them like, okay, so let's say 10 or 20 years from now, time passed, and you are 40, 50 years old, and you'd have missed out on having your own flesh and blood because what someone else is telling you what to do with your body, So, you know, you just can't let other people dictate that. And I feel like if you can, why not? Some people just have special parts, as I call them. And if you can use your baby factory to make them, then, and if that's something that you want to do, have your own, and if you're comfortable with that, then do it. Forget what everybody else say.
That even after serving and retiring from the military, this is by far one of the most bravest things that I've ever had to do in my life, right? Because life doesn't stop. You still have to go in public. You still have to go do everything that you need to do. And guess what? There's no special places for us. We go sit in these waiting rooms with these women and everyone else um as we're going through this process. And so I just wanted to point that out. Like everyone, like from what you're saying, like people's judgment. It's easy for them. It's easy for them to judge us from where they're sitting, but I'm sure they wouldn't walk a step in our footprints.
Not only do we have to sit in these spaces with these women, nobody gives us special treatment. Nobody's giving up their seat for us and helping us carry our groceries and all, unless we have a good partner. Nobody is going, hold on, hey, sir, you look a little pregnant there. You need some
I didn't even think
help.
about that.
They don't even think about. We're out here. We gotta be men still while being pregnant. Nobody's giving us special treatment. Nobody. So that's the other part. They definitely don't want to walk in our shoes. Not even these cisgender women, because again, nobody's treating us like we're like these little delicate little flowers. Because we still walking around for the most part. Those of us who are cis assumed, we are still walking around, and people might be looking at us like, "What is going on with this man?" I'm so confused. But they still see a man, and they still treat us as such.
We get the fat phobia. It goes the opposite way. So now, and I'm gonna be real with you. From someone that's been in the gym, and I've never been this big in my life. No shade or nothing, but I've never been this big in my life. So
Welcome.
I go from women everybody flirting and just looking to everybody looking, yeah, and they're not looking for they're like, what? He is fat. Jesus.
Right. What is going on? That man got a beer belly out this damn world. That's how I've had people literally say that. Like it's crazy. And yeah, so I agree 1,000% with Alan.
That I had never once considered that aspect of it, that you're still carrying a child and expected to assume the gender roles. I never even considered that. Which kind of leads into my next question of how has it impacted you mentally when you have to step into those spaces? So you kind of pretty much hit on that. Wow. So as far as your medical care, Alan, are you getting your medical care from the VA?
No, I get it from a local hospital. They outsource, but the
Okay.
VA is paying for it.
Okay.
Well, the VA pay. I
So
mean, it's just as any other medical care because I have VA insurance, so the
okay.
VA pays for it. Yeah.
Okay. So and this question is coming to all of you. How has your medical treatment, as far as medical staff being respectful of pronouns and sensitive to what your needs may be, how has that been?
Mine has been amazing, but also I went through the fertility clinic, right? And so going through the fertility clinic and then they doing a handoff to the hospital, and then whomever I have a consult with, they're very mindful. I don't know, it might be in my notes or something, but they're very mindful and careful. And then, I don't have a really bad we don't have bad attitude with people or anything. We don't expect any special treatment. So I believe that people treat you the way that you treat them. So when I go into those appointments, I have the best attitude, but also the VA's paying for everything, right? So insurance insurance treatment is I don't know if it matters, but when you have everything covered,
Your
people
treatment may be impacted.
yeah, right. So I'm not really the best example, but my experience has not been bad.
Okay.
People might think I'm being what's the word I'm looking for? Full of myself or whatever the case may be, and it's not the case at all. But I will say that I drowned so everybody else could swim, right? And so, you know, it's been 11 years since I've had to be in medical treatment, 11 to 10 to 11 years. So I had to endure some pretty shitty things. I had insurance. I'm a pretty nice person. I don't, especially when I'm walking into such a vulnerable space, like I do the whole code switching thing, especially when I'm walking into a space where the way I see it is a quote unquote women's space. And I am a Black man, albeit light skinned with green eyes. I'm still a Black man. And women, Black men, not a great mixture for the most part. So I try to make myself so palatable. And
Mhm.
regardless of that fact, I still was misgendered, told I wasn't, even 3 years ago, told I wasn't supposed to be in the space because the space was for women only, dealing with a lot of microaggressions and why are you here's and all of those good things, despite me specifically asking Hey, can you put this in the notes? Hey, can you let the doctor know this? Hey, there was a whole lot of advocating and having to stand up for myself that ended up happening. And which is why right after I gave birth to my 3-year-old, I went into reproductive justice and started training train the future doctors and nurses and OBGYNs of tomorrow so that other people don't have to go through it. But my medical experiences were traumatic, to say the least. Trauma. Um, and yeah, so yeah, it makes me very, very happy though that Alan is receiving such good care because that lets me know that something is changing, albeit however slow it's going. There are still things changing.
Okay.
You know, I was already scared, so I reached out to my gender doctor first to see what they can do. They stay like 2 hours away. And then I started to get care in the local area, but the same thing, I made sure like whoever I hit up or whatever doctor that I talked to, I think I went through like 3 providers before I found the one that I actually wanted because I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, I got to make sure that this person is right for me when it comes to my care because people, it's already hard for Black cis women to have babies and they take them serious. But I know they ain't gonna take me serious as a trans guy having a baby. Like if I be like, oh, I'm hurting, like, oh, you be alright, that whole situation. I made sure wherever provider that I talked to at first, I was like, I don't want that type of treatment. Like if I'm telling you I'm feeling this or I'm in this situation or in this pain, I want you to do something about it or give me a second opinion or something. I don't want to just be brushed aside. And I let them know that that was my biggest fear. And that's how I was able to find the right provider for me the first time, even though I was the first trans guy that they dealt with. And then, like, when it was time for me to have the baby at the hospital, um, I was the first trans guy there to have a baby. So you always had those nurses that weren't even supposed to be in there peeping like, oh, he in there, that's him right there. Or you had the nurses that was used to saying, like, oh, how you doing, mom? Stuff like that. And I have to correct them, but they wasn't hard about it or nothing. But they was open to learning, and that's what I liked about that the hospital that I did give birth at. They even gave me a special room and stuff. I had a little special treatment, so it came with its perks. But you definitely have to stand up for yourself, so they won't just treat you like anything, because that's what they'll do if you allow them. And therefore, it makes it easier for the next person that comes around. They already know what to do. They know about pronouns, and stuff like that. With this baby right here, I'm letting my gender doctor take care of it. She's also my OB and stuff like that. So I'm comfortable with this one, and I already know what to do and come up with plans and stuff. So that's that. I went to the hospital out here in Memphis, and I was having contractions and stuff because I was stressed. And nobody didn't see me for like almost an hour. I was sitting there and I was like, I'm glad I'm not like going into labor right here. Y'all giving me to run around and telling me to walk this way and that. And I'm not walking. Y'all gonna have to roll me. Like but they was like, we don't even have a labor and delivery area. And I was like, oh shoot, so this could be a lot of stress. And then you sit in a waiting room with a lot of people just looking at you, like, why he so fat? I'm like, you trying to cover your belly or lean forward or to the side and be comfortable, but uncomfortable at the same time. So I just got up, I walked out. I had left.
I want to share some more from the Blackout article that Mel submitted. And he goes on in the article to say that we're already living outside of the binary rules that were placed on our lives. This community is judged already by outsiders who will never see us as we are. Must we indulge in their depiction of us? Imagine us, a community completely oppressed, often silenced and feared. When we attack others for living their truth, we continue the cycle instead of finding ways to love the different variations of us. So with that, I would like to pose the question of whether or not you have received a lot of negative comments from people within our own community, within the LGBTQIA plus community, about your decision to carry a child. So let's go to we'll start with Malachi this time. Since I got Malachi up on my screen.
Okay. Actually, I have found more support within the community, versus not. I mean, a lot of people that have been helping me is the community and stuff. Like we got the baby shower coming up. Mostly everybody coming is either like from the drag community, from the
Okay.
drag scene, or the the LGBTQ plus community. I like really they the only ones here for me.
Okay. I'm glad you had that support system. What about you, Kaden?
I gotta come in here and be negative Nancy, but whatever.
Speak your truth, brother. Speak your truth.
So for me, it wasn't. I wish it was that pleasant. Again, this is way back when. Now you look around and it's like, you're pregnant too? You pregnant? Shit, you pregnant? Everybody pregnant. I love it. But back then it was just me. It was just me that was open about it. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I was the only Black ish face that you saw, when it came to pregnancy. And the community tore me up, honey. They tore me to shreds. The trans men were telling me that I wasn't a man and basically calling me a girl. I had dudes wanting to fight me. I was called. I was told that I was giving a bad name to the trans masculine community, the trans man community, because now everybody's going to think that all trans men want to have babies. And it was horrible. Lesbians couldn't stand me because they didn't understand why I transitioned, and which, a lot of lesbians feel very offended by trans men.
Yeah.
We know this, right? So the fact that not only did I transition, but now I have the nerve to
To
have
have a
kids
baby.
too. How damn it dare me? Gay men couldn't stand it because I'm dating these gay men and having babies with their asses, and they out here, all they can do is find a random hookup, and they're trying to figure out. They feel like it's competition because they can't give these men, these cis men, babies, but I can. So everybody was mad at me. I honestly got more support from outside of the community than I did from in the community. And that's just being honest. And when I say the community, I don't necessarily mean the queer community as a whole or the LGBTQIA plus community as a whole. I mean the Black LGBTQIA plus community. The white people loved me and they took care of me and they made sure that I was taken care of. It was mostly the non-white communities. And I think that just has to do, it's not saying that, oh my God, Black people are horrible. I just think that, as far as what societal standards hold for men, non-Black queer people have been basically doing whatever the hell they want for decades now. You saw trans masculine people giving birth, and we saw Thomas Beatty was on Oprah and Ryan Casada and all the people, and everybody was like, "Ooh, look at this!" But when Black men do it, it takes time for people to get acclimated to it for whatever reason. So for me, it was really difficult, and to this day, I still get most of my pushback from within the community, not necessarily trans men at this point, but still from like, lesbians specifically, especially lesbians. Hey, y'all, I really don't, I love y'all. I don't know why you be so mad at me. So, but other than that, like people from like cisgender heterosexual people, a lot of them just come with curiosity these days. Just being honest. I know I was long-winded. I apologize.
No, it's all good. What about you, Alan?
I don't really get any pushback, but I think they're more surprised that it was me. Anyone that knows me or anyone that knows my
Okay.
character, it was just a shock that I was pregnant. Um, I mean, I'm a man's man. I mean, I was in the military for over 13 years, and I was the stereotypical military guy. So I think that's where a lot of the shock and awe comes from, and everyone has questions. Um, but besides that, I don't think people approach me anyway because I really don't care about people's opinion. So, and I will let you know that I don't care about your opinion in the most tactful way, but I will let you know. So, people don't really. I'm sure people talk. I'm sure they've been talking. I really don't give a damn. So,
So a follow-up question for you is that your situation was planned. What, if you don't mind me asking, what led you to say, okay, I don't want my partner to carry my child, like, because there's fertility options. Your partner can carry your eggs. What made you say, I want to do this? I want to go on this journey. I want to have this experience.
well, my partner can't carry because my partner is trans as well. Um,
Okay,
so there wasn't an option there. One,
that
two,
does limit the options.
right, right. That cuts off a whole lot of options. But I'm not
Okay,
paying money to no surrogate that I for something that I could do.
makes a lot of sense.
And my insurance is gonna pay for me to do it. And um I mean it's not my ideal situation. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, do I be like, oh yeah, you know what? I love pregnancy and this is just something that I've always wanted to do for my life. No, I always wanted my own child. But there's steps that you have to go through to get to that end goal, right? So I just had to make sacrifices, do it myself. Yeah, it's a long process. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, whoever is considering it, please think about it and be ready, because this is not for the weak. It's not for the weak at all. And guys is doing it more than once. Hats off to y'all. Never, never. I like. There's some things like I said that I could probably do that again. This I cannot. And if I do it again, I want y'all all to come at me with full force. Like, Alan, remember that time you said you couldn't do this again? Right. I want y'all to talk to me because I have clearly lost my mind.
Wow,
I've been trying to
that's
tell people for years, and I'm just so happy because everybody makes it seem there were people that said with a full chest that I got pregnant for popularity. And I was like, excuse me? Do you think I got pregnant to go viral? Are you absolutely the fucking sane? Who for what? I can think of 1,000 million things I could do to go viral. Pregnancy is not something you want to just do. There's certain people that love that stuff, honestly. But when I tell you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut
no,
up.
you're good, bro. You're good. You're good. That actually is a great way to segue into the last portion of the article that Mel submitted to Blackout Magazine. He says that when we as trans men allow ourselves to place ourselves in different boxes, we begin to really live and thrive. No one determines our roles. We make our rules. We make our own. We as trans men need to stop bashing others for living and start embracing how amazingly unique we are. Unique in that we can do things that cisgender men can't do. And I like the way Malachi put it. It's kind of like something pretty cool that we can do that like cisgender men can't do. We can bring life into this world, and that's pretty dope. So, what is some advice that you would give a trans man that's considering this journey? Kaden, I've got you up on the screen, so you can go first.
I would say that I definitely echo um, Alan's sentiments. Like, really think about it. Like, really think about it. It is not for the weak. You have to be thick skinned. You have to be ready for what society is going to think and what they're going to throw at you and what they're going to say. And it's not only just you, they will come for you, your family, your kids. They don't give a shit. So you have to really be prepared for that. You also have to be prepared for what you can endure as far as medical trauma. We already experienced medical trauma without the pregnancies. I believe it was Malachi who said about Black cis women in maternal spaces. have passed away 3 times more than non-Black women. So add that layer of being trans on there. And I'm not here to try to scare anybody, but I just need people to understand the gravity of the situation, because I really feel like when it comes to trans men, people act like pregnancy and birth is like just doing this thing. I promise you, in the past 3 weeks, I've had 2 cisgender men on Instagram that I've never spoken to before, ever, hit me up asking me to be their surrogate. And I was like, why are you hitting me up like this is just like a walk in the park? And you're offering me how much money? 10,000 total? You're insane. To create life, you're nuts. It's a lot. And pregnancy is a lot on your body. It's a lot on your body. Your body will never be the same. You're nothing will ever be the same. So you need to just really be prepared for what is to come, that extra layer. And it's not just pregnancy. Once you give birth, everybody's going to be eagle-eyed watching you, waiting for you to slip up so they can prove that trans people are not good parents. That's all.
Appreciate that perspective.
I just want to say something real quick. I it's funny because since the since a lot of trans guys coming out having babies now, how many times that you do get hit up from like gay guys asking you to have just babies with them. You like, I don't even know you, and it ain't even all about that. And then it's so funny because just yesterday I was going down Facebook and it was like you see the same guys on almost every trans guy page who wanted to have a baby with you. They just making it a thing, like they just searching you out now, and it's just crazy how they just search you out just to have a baby. I even had one guy tell me, it's like, I just want you to have my baby for me. You ain't even gotta be there. I was like, you think I'm gonna destroy my body just to give you a baby just for free type stuff? It's just crazy what they just throw out there, and yeah.
So while you're up on the screen, Malachi, what advice would you give a trans man considering carrying?
The advice that I would give, same thing that Kaden was saying, is make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, not just physically, but definitely mentally, because you don't know all the stuff that you're going to go through until you go through it. So make sure that you make sure that everything it's kind of planned out, because I think the first time, like, it ain't just it's come with the paperwork and then signing them up for school, and and dealing with just everything. Like, they were like, okay, where's the mom? When you're doing paperwork, where's the mom? Then you have to go and explain them, I'm this and I had my own child. Or when you take them to the doctor, where's the mom? They always asking that question. So you definitely got to deal with that. You probably for the rest of your life, and especially if you just planning on having your baby by yourself without another partner, that you have to play the role as the like as the birther and as the father, and just doing everything. It could be stressful, very stressful at times. So just make sure that you mentally prepare for it.
Okay, some good advice. Alan, you're up. What advice would you give a trans man carrying a child? I know. You mentioned a little bit a minute ago, but any extra advice you want to give a trans man considering carrying?
Find your community, have your support system. And even if you don't think you're gonna need a support system, you will. I don't care if it's just to ask simple questions. I mean, I think I reached out to Katie and I was like, listen, I don't know what to I don't know what to do. I don't know. I just got questions. And it could be it could be things you would never thought would come up. Find your community, have your support system, and give yourself space, right? Just because we're doing it, our journey is not going to look like your journey. Mm-hmm. You could do it. If this is something that you really, truly want, you can do it. Just do not try to emulate anybody else. Make your own path. Raise your child. the way that you see fit. Do what you think is best because you are a parent. No matter what society says, no matter what anyone else says, you're going to do what's best for your child because that's your innate that's your innate see look pregnancy brain. I'm sorry, y'all. You know where I was going with that. Yeah.
I do know where you're going with that. I have ADHD, so I can't help you. But but what I was getting ready to say about the emulating people thing, just because you become pregnant does not mean now you have to become an educator. You can just be pregnant. You do not have to put yourself on a billboard. You do not have to document your pregnancy. You do not have to do articles. You don't have to do any of that.
And this is your baby. Nobody's entitled to your body or your child. And that's one thing that I've tried to do. I share pictures here and there, but this is my journey. Mm-hmm. This is my journey. This is our journey. Me and my partner. This is our journey. No one's entitled to it. You know, it's your job to protect this child. It's my job to protect this child. So that's what I'm gonna do. I share. Some people know. Some people don't know. Whatever. It's just that you don't have to be a Thomas Beatty. You don't have to be a Caden Coleman. You don't have to. But those guys are there. They've already showed us that it could be done.
And I'm here to tell you, I'm being honest, you probably don't want to. It looks so glorious, doesn't it? It looks so amazing. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Like, I'm being honest with y'all. I've had CPS call on me and all types of crazy shit. I don't get on social media and throw everything that I go through out there, but I'm telling you, if you do not have to be in the public eye, don't. You do. There's not a requirement of you. You do not owe anybody. Like Alan said, you don't owe anybody anything. And Javon made a great point, and I don't know why I didn't say it as somebody who works in reproductive justice. Get you a doula. Get you a doula or a midwife. I'm actually working on something where if you you don't necessarily need a doula. I'm working on something where I know that everybody's not capable or willing or bold enough or whatever to feel like they can advocate for themselves in medical spaces, which is pretty much what a doula is. But if you would prefer someone who is trans, I'm working on doing something that where I am doing that for people because I've realized that when my peoples come to me and tell me that they're pregnant, I'm that anyway. I be wanting to be on the phone. What did they say? You didn't even have to do that. What you got? What? No. Second opinion. Like that's me. So I'm definitely that working on a kind of like program that's more. I don't want to say more affordable than a doula but it is because I'm not providing you full birth services. I'm just here to be a liaison, if that makes sense. Okay. So yes.
I appreciate that insight. Are there any other comments or any?
I think I just want to add one more thing before we, shut down. Also, for the people, the trans guys that is planning on having their own child, also make sure you talk to your doctor in the midst of trying, because I know a lot of them be like, I'm just gonna get off T and do it this way, but not knowing their body like that. Like you don't know that you probably been off for 10 years and you thinking that you're just gonna be off for a few months or this can happen, or you could think that you can get pregnant because you isn't. See, I'd say definitely get your doctor involved, because I know with this time around, we both, me and my partner, because she's trans as well, so we both had to get our doctor involved to help us with this process, to get our levels checked and then see how long it's going to take or see what she can do, because our body had to cleanse itself of the hormones that we was on. So I would definitely say, if you can, get your doctor to help you, to at least point you in the right direction on what to do, instead of just going out there blind and doing it, and then giving up on it because you can't, that happens a lot as well.
Just to
That's a good
piggyback
point.
off of Malachi really quick. Yes, get your doctor involved. Also, understand that not all of these doctors are well informed. So that's really important. As I'm telling you, I train these people and they don't know nothing about us. Their level of competency when it comes to trans people, they get like a chapter in a book and that's it during college. That's it. Okay, so remember that part. But more importantly, please stop hitting up other trans men and asking them how long they need to be off T and all of those things. It is okay to want some advice, but y'all cannot just be basing, just like you can't base your transition off of another trans man. Please stop doing that. You don't you I might need to be off of T for a year. You might get pregnant while still on T by accident because your levels dropped. Everybody's body is different. Please stop basing your journey on other people. I just thought that was just really important to say.
Also, if you're trying, make sure you're getting tested. Make sure you're being safe. Because if you're just out here just having random sex because you want a child, and it happens, you need to protect yourself. You need to be tested. You need to talk about PrEP and all these other things. You need to talk to these people that you're having sex with and make sure that for you, your child safety, everyone else, and there's other things out there just besides HIV, because that's the only thing we like to hit
Hello?
on. Yeah,
Hello?
like,
Can we just do
that's
that normally? Even if you're not trying, let's
yeah,
do all of those things anyway. Like,
yeah,
please get tested. And I mean, we all out here trying to have a good old time, and sometimes we want to bust open, and that's fine. But
it's
get
fine.
yourself tested and know what your options are. But specifically before bringing another life in the world, because there are things other than HIV that you can pass along to your child, and some of those things can be fatal
And
or
they
life
can't stop,
altering.
right? And they can't stop you from getting pregnant
That
because
too.
if you have HPV and you don't
Yes.
get it tested and there's no
Mhm.
signs of it, you won't get pregnant because of the scars that it's a lot more into it. I don't
Yeah.
want to just, I know we're closing. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but protect yourself. Go get checked, not just because. And if you're not having sex, still go get checked. I mean,
Get
Just
tested,
get
right?
checked.
please.
Regularly. Don't
So
think you're ever exempt. You're never exempt. Just go get checked. When your doctor asks, because they will ask, because they act real funny with trans men, they will make cisgender men have their full panel, rectal, all that good stuff. And then with trans men, they'll be like, so do you want a full panel today? Yes, the answer is always yes.
yeah, get
Even if you're
checked.
scared, do it.
Get get checked. Go do it. If you need someone to talk to before you do it, or need some support, I'm sure any of these guys, they're great guys. Will be there. I'll be there too. I'm not gonna lie. Just
Not after you have that baby you want.
go talk to
Right.
You're
someone.
gonna be
Not with a
dying.
newborn.
You're gonna be dying.
But just just go get checked, please. Go. Reproductive health it includes us.
Yeah.
We are
Sexual health, yes.
directly affected by sexual and reproductive health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great point.
So I want to say thank you to everybody for tapping in, for participating, for providing some valuable insight and information.